My name's Adam Manaka and I'm the Financial Controller for Hi-Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at Hi-Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. Hi-Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
Hello and welcome to the 8th and final round of the 2018 FIM Maxxis Enduro World Championship. As in 2017, the season climax takes the paddock to Rudersdorf in the heart of Brandenburg, Germany, just 30 kilometres from Berlin, but well away from the hustle and bustle of the EU's second most populous city, at least until EnduroGP comes to town. This final round will see all 4 senior world titles decided, including EnduroGP. Alex Salvini arrives 30 points behind Steve Holcomb after suffering 2 bike failures in the last 2 race weekends, leaving the Briton on the cusp of retaining his title.
If I win the championship on Saturday, so my goal is to push hard. I think then we're focused on racing and not on the championship, because I think if you try not to push, then that's when mistakes happen.
I try to do my best as always. I try to ride to win if it's possible, and then we will see at the end.
Salvini never one to give up, but the odds very much against the Italian in EnduroGP, with only 40 points left to ride for. 5th or better for Holcomb on the Saturday, and even a Salvini victory would not be enough to keep the title race alive. As ever, the action getting underway on Friday evening with the Akrapovic Super Test. That meant a visit to the Kesselsee Arena for the fans and a specially designed 600-metre Super Test for the riders, tackling the course 2x2 with time bonuses the prize for the top 9, running from 12 seconds for first place down to a single second for 9th. The spectators ready for a party with a carnival atmosphere prevailing in the stands. On the tight and technical course, there were spills aplenty and some big names near the bottom of the timesheets. Christophe Nambertin, 23rd, Christophe Charlier, 24th, and David Garneri could only manage 14th on his Honda. It's of course set to stretch the very best in the business. There was a mini disaster for Alex Salvini, this crash seeing him finish down in 13th. No problems for Thomas Oldrati though, 3rd for Honda. Champion-elect Steve Holcomb was in great form, taking 2nd place to take an extra 10 seconds over Salvini into Saturday, but the winner was Loic Lariot, hitting very much his best form in the second half of the season for Yamaha. Holcomb also taking the Super Test award, but he has his eyes set on a different prize on Saturday. Just a quarter of a second separating the top 2 in the end. Bradley Freeman also in good shape for his E1 title challenge on Saturday after finishing 4th here. After the excitement of Friday night, the teams and riders were up bright and early on Saturday morning. This German round, famous for its rain and mud, but lovers of sludge were to be disappointed with the weather this year. Unseasonal sunshine and heat up to around the 25-degree mark by midday, making the 2018 edition of the German event rather different to usual. Hard bumps and dust replacing the usual mud and water, making the set test a little easier than usual. The riders faced with a 3.5 laps of a 60-kilometre track comprising of 3 separate tests. First, a more natural extreme test in the Kesselsee Arena, just 1.5 kilometres in length. Then a tricky transfer to the 5-kilometre cross test before coming back to the Kesselsee Arena for the Enduro test. A 10-kilometre monster combining both rock and sandy sections just to keep the riders on their toes. Either way, did we mention that the course was riding easier than usual? Saturday, another day to forget for Christophe Charlet after a terrible super test. The French beater rider running in a respectable 11th place overall when his engine decided it had had enough after 9 of the opening day's 11 stages. Thomas Oldrati's form has taken a dip since his 4th place finish in Edolo. The Italian Honda rider simply unable to find any consistency on his way to 13th place and could only manage 4th in E2, where he's likely to finish this year's championship. Emil Poyoller's season got off to a great start on home snow and ice in Finland, placing 2nd overall on the 2nd day. But since then, the Flying Finn has struggled to adapt to the conditions around the old continent. 12th overall and 5th in E1, his best result since then for Gasgas. Meanwhile, Gasgas teammate Antoine Basset has been incredibly consistent this year. The Frenchman with 8 consecutive E1 podiums until his home race last month. He was a minute away from the podium here too in 4th place and 11th overall. Basset 45 seconds away from another teammate, Christophe Nambertin, and a place in the top 10. The 3-time world champion coming into the day with the E3 title all but gone, and only an 8-point lead over Daniel McCanny in the race for 2nd place. 4th in E3 here, not helping matters as he edged into the top 10 overall. Anthony Gesland's first season in the senior ranks may not have been as spectacular as Bradley Freeman's, but the Basque rider can still be happy with his performance in 2018. 3rd here in E3 is 5th class podium of the campaign for Beta, while 9th in EnduroGP, the best result of his budding career thus far. Davide Garneri has been a revelation since his return from a horrible back injury sustained on the opening day in Portugal, and also kept him out of the subsequent events in Estonia and Trentino. 3rd in E1 in both races in France, and again here on the opening day, while 8th in EnduroGP, his best result of the season for Honda. Jamie McCanny came into Saturday's race knowing he needed to win E1 and hoped Bradley Freeman could do no better than 6th in order to keep his own title hopes alive. Unfortunately for the Manxman, that didn't happen, but the Yamaha rider now guaranteed 2nd in class for the year, while 7th overall leaves him fighting for 5th in the EnduroGP standings. Meanwhile, older brother Daniel is still embroiled in the battle for 2nd in the E3 class. The Gasgas rider 2nd in class on day 1 despite a big mistake on the 2nd extreme test, and hanging on to 6th overall by a mere 37 thousandths of a second. That despite this little mishap on the Enduro section. No damage done though, apart from a dent to his prime. It was now or never in the battle for the EnduroGP title for Alex Salvini. His chance is already slim after a pair of DNFs since the summer break. Unfortunately for the Italian, he and his Husqvarna finished 5th. However, with the overall title gone, the E2 title is still his to lose after finishing 3rd in class. It leads the standings by 10 points heading into the final day of the season.
Today I struggled to get a good feeling. The track is really rough and it's strange. It's not like I expected, but yeah, I was in the game until the end for the 2nd place, but unfortunately I did a few mistakes that took me out of and put me on a 3rd.
Loic Clario arrived in Germany with an outside chance of the E2 title, and after his now customary slow start on Saturday, busied himself with hunting down Salvini, moving ahead after the penultimate test and holding on to take 4th overall, just 9 seconds away from the podium and 2nd in E2. The Yamaha rider still in the title hunt, but only just. But the Frenchman unable to keep up with Iro Remes, Salvini's chief rival for that E2 title. The Finn 3rd overall throughout the day without ever really threatening the top 2, keeping his hopes alive with a podium spot at the end of the season. A 6th class victory of the year moved his TM within 10 points to the E2 summit with just a single day of racing left.
I try to riding like today, make good results, and then we look how it's going and after the race.
Bradley Freeman started the day with a 28-point lead over Jamie McCanny in E1, with only a DNF likely to prevent him picking up the title in his first season out of the junior ranks, where he won the title in 2017. The Briton deciding attack was the best form of defence, racing to a 9th consecutive E1 victory. He was also just 5 seconds shy of what would have been a 2nd EnduroGP win of 2018. The important thing was that world title, something the beta rider wasn't even dreaming of at the start of the year.
So Brad, how do you feel as the new E1 World Champion?
Did I just hear that right? Oh, it's unbelievable. I got no words. I'm shaking. It's. I didn't expect that, so no, I'm happy. I'm sorry. We did it. We did it.
Perfect way to seal a title, with surely more to come in the future. But at the top of the tree stands Steve Holcomb. 5th place would have been enough to retain his title, but the Vita rider was aiming for more. In this case, a 4th overall win in his last 5 races and a 9th consecutive victory and 10th in total in his E3 class. The Briton playing second fiddle to Salvini in the first part of the season, but has been the class of the field since the summer break. There's a 3rd world title for Holcomb after winning E3 in 2016 and EnduroGP last year.
It's been a crazy year, really. A little bit lost for words at the minute. Just want to get the bike in the Parc Fermé, and then it's confirmed. So yeah, feeling good. I can't thank my team enough for being able to let me get in this position, and hopefully this is only the beginning.
Plenty to celebrate then, especially for this golden generation of British riders. Holcomb may have a battle royal in his hands next year though, with Freeman and the McCanny brothers still improving. Salvini hungry to prove himself again, and the likes of Laria getting closer all the time. So, 3 titles decided with 1 left for Sunday. Salvini still in the box seat in E2 with a 10-point lead over Remes ahead of the final race. Now to the youth section, and Joe Wootton had plenty to ride for, ready to chase down British competitor Jack Edmondson, the 3rd in the championship. 3rd on Saturday, a good start on his Husqvarna, with Edmondson down in 7th. Game on. The big surprise of the weekend saw Mattia Cavallo's 6th race winning streak come to an end. Having wrapped up the junior world title in France, the Italian Vita rider not at his best here, finishing just 6 seconds ahead of Wootton in 2nd place. Will Ruprecht arrived in Germany hoping to secure a factory ride for 2019 and may well have done exactly that, given an opportunity by the Johansson Yamaha team and becoming the first rider to win their debut event as a wildcard since Jeremy Joly.
Ideally, I would like to end up racing the World Championship here and get a few world titles under my belt. That's why I'm here. So yes, I hope that this result today and possibly a good result tomorrow will cement that.
In the youth section, with the title already decided, Hamish MacDonald was looking to secure 2nd in the championship. The Kiwi Sherco rider doing exactly that with a pair of 2nd place finishes and will fancy his chances of going 1 better in 2019. But Rui Barbosa was a deserved and dominant champion for Husqvarna, winning 7 of 11 races, capped by a lovely pair in Germany. Chile's first ever Enduro World Champions head into the juniors full of confidence. The 2nd day in the junior ranks saw Davide Sorreca return to form. The Italian 3rd here, his best result since Estonia, but some recent poor results when he finished down in 6th in the championship table. Day 1 winner Will Ruprecht and reigning champion Mattia Cavallo battled first until falling apart in the final lap. That left Joe Wootton right in the mix with Theo Espinas for the victory, but coming up agonisingly short in 2nd, Wootton having to make do with 4th for the standings. Wootton set the scratch time in the final test to pile pressure on Espinas, but the Sherco rider held his nerve to add to his previous win in Estonia, and edge ahead of Sorreca into 5th in the final standings. The Women's Cup also on the line in Germany, this their only race this season. Pre-race favourite and 3-time runner-up Jane Daniels sitting in 2nd place on the Saturday before a crash on the 5th test of the day saw the British Husqvarna rider have to retire from the race with a broken collarbone. The entries coming from far and wide for this event, including 2 riders all the way from Japan. Nami Matsuda and Seiko Sugawara certainly up for the challenge, but unfortunately neither were able to get all the way to the finish line. With Daniels out of the equation, double motocross world champion Livia Lancelot of France fancied her chances of a crossover win for Honda, but was blown out of the water by our new women's champion. Sanna Kakkanen was already in a near 1 minute lead before Daniels' retirement, winning the opening day by 2.5 minutes, and despite a few wobbles on day 2, held on to complete the double for KTM. The reigning European champion now our world champion as well.
Yesterday was easier, but after the win yesterday I felt more pressured, and I make some little mistakes, but still I got to be the first in the finish line, so feels good.
She may find defending that title even harder. 2017 winner Maria Franca missing this year's event, having just given birth, but will hope to be back in 2018. And so, on to the final day of racing in the 2018 FIM Maxxis Enduro World Championship. Once again, the weather perfect, unless you're a big fan of rain, wind and mud. For some, this is the last chance of glory this season. For others, this the morning after the night before, after the EnduroGP E1 and E3 titles were all decided the previous day. Just 3 laps of the course we negotiated for the riders before heading off for a well-deserved to Brad. With the EnduroGP title already gone, Alex Salvini came into Sunday still in the box seat for the E2 title, with a 10-point lead over nearest challenger Ira Remes. However, a freak accident saw a piece of wood sever the wires to the injection system on Tusqvarna, and despite his best efforts, and those of a number of his competitors, he was disqualified at the next time control. The cruelest of ends to an otherwise brilliant campaign.
You know, he was there, you know, trying to fix his bike, and all of us really were trying to, you know, get him going. It's, you know, devastating really to see, you know, another issue and, you know, ultimately to lose the title.
It's hard to accept because in 3 races, 3 bike issues are more than is predictable. You know, 1 is okay, 2 is more, and 3. They say that what doesn't kill you make you stronger, so probably next year I will be stronger.
Christophe Charlier's weekend didn't get any better either. The beta rider out after 5 tests on Saturday with an engine problem, and at the same stage 24 hours later with an electrical gremlin. The French will hope for better in 2019, perhaps with Honda. It was Groundhog Day for Emil Poyola, 12th in EnduroGP and 5th in E1 for the 2nd day running. The Finn in his first year in the senior ranks and learning all the time away from his favoured snow and ice. 4th in the E1 World Championship, a great platform for Gas riders' future. Unfortunately, Poyola unable to live with Gas teammate Antoine Basset's metronomic consistency throughout the season. The Frenchman with 8 podiums in 2018, although none over the last 2 weekends. 11th overall on Sunday, 4th again in E1 with 3rd in the E1 standings already assured. Well, the future looks bright for Anthony Gesslin after ending his first year as a senior in a clear 4th place in the E3 Championship. The French beta rider sneaking into the overall top 10 for the 6th time this season on the Sunday here, although he missed out an E3 podium by a mere 8 seconds. Thomas Oldrati's high tide mark for the season saw the Honda man finish 6th and 4th over 2 days in Adolo, but the rest of the Italian season has seen him hovering just inside and outside the overall top 10. Oldrati 9th on the final day, good enough for 3rd in E2 and a solid 4th in the championship. At 34 years of age, Crystal Numbertan is one of Enduro's elder statesmen. The gas rider not enjoying a vintage year though in EnduroGP, and 8th place here, leaving him a distant 7th in the standings. But 3rd in his E3 class, enough to clinch 2nd in that championship. The Frenchman will have to wait another year for a chance to add to his 3 world titles. Jamie McCanny working his way back to full fitness after dislocating his shoulder in Trentino, but still not back to his best. 7th overall on Sunday after some struggles with the extreme test, and only 3rd place in E1, the first time he hasn't finished in the top 2 since Finland. The Yamaha rider ending up a strong 2nd to Freeman in the E1 Championship. McCanny demoted to 3rd in class due to the resurgence of Davide Guarneri. The Italian now fighting fit, ending his season with 4 consecutive class podiums, although only 5th in the championship, having missed 5 races. 6th in EnduroGP, also his best result of the year, only 3 seconds away from the top 5. Well, heartbreak for Salvini, thanks to his 3rd DNF of the season, meant that over the second half of the day, Eero Remes merely needed to stay on his bike to claim the E2 title. And the Finn did exactly that for his TM team. 5th overall on the day, moving Remes ahead of Salvini to 3rd in the final EnduroGP standings, but more importantly, the 2nd place in E2, enough to clinch the 3rd world title of his career, after previously taking the E1 title in both 2015 and 2016. It could also be a last world title for the Finn, who remains characteristically tight-lipped about his future. Rumours flying around thick and fast regarding his TM team, with Loic Lario tipped to take his place. Now, compared to other parts of the paddock, these celebrations somewhat understated, but you'd expect nothing less from Remes, who is possibly the last person you'd ever want to face on the poker table.
A little bit surprised, like after yesterday I was 2nd, 10 points behind Alex, and I'm really sorry for Alex because he needs to stop today. But sometimes motorsport it's like that, and he was unlucky today. So now I'm world champ, and I'm not still believe it, but it's like that.
Daniel McCanny finishing strongly, the gas rider on a season-high 4th overall on Sunday, but the Britain's concentration wholly on his E3 battle with Numbertan, the 2nd in the E3 Championship. A 2nd place on the Sunday, bringing him to within 2 points of the Frenchman, but ultimately he had to make do with 3rd place for 2018. It was only fitting that, having clinched the title with a race to spare, Bradley Freeman should finish with a 10th consecutive E1 win. As a bonus, 3rd overall on Sunday, coupled with Salvini's woes, left the beta rider at 2nd in the EnduroGP standings. Holcomb may find life a little harder next year. Loic Lario improved as the year progressed, with his 2nd place here, his best of the season, which may well be his last with Yamaha, with the Outsiders team rumoured to be leaving the championship for 2019. This also his first E2 victory of the season, propelling him to 2nd in those standings, ahead of a totally gutted Salvini.
Finally a win. Sometimes I lose the speed, sometimes I crash, sometimes I sleep too late. And, like yesterday, the 2 first tests was not so good.
But the star of the show, undoubtedly Steve Holcomb. The Briton hitting the overall podium in the last 10 races of the season, winning 5 of the last 6. Holcomb also bagging an 11th win of the season in E3. That's 4 world titles for Holcomb in the last 3 seasons now, and he appears to have an appetite for even more.
I didn't know how I was going to feel coming into today. You know, I didn't have the best of recovery as for racing-wise yesterday, but no, yeah, sort of had a little bit of fun in the first extreme test and lost a bit of time, and that was sort of the motivation I needed to push for the win.
So Holcomb climbs to the top of the podium for the final time this season, and with the way he finished this year, we may expect more of the same from Britain in 2019. Holcomb taking that final win by nearly half a minute in the end, despite sitting in 17th place after the opening test and nurturing a slightly sore head. Holcomb 47 points ahead of 2nd place Freeman in the end, with Remes completing the podium ahead of Salvini, who led the championship for so long. So that's it from the 2018 FIM Maxxis Enduro World Championship. The riders have faced snow, ice, rain, mud, dust and a myriad of new and exciting course layouts this year, stretching the very best to the limits and sometimes beyond. But in the end, EnduroGP, the deserved winner. We'll now bid you a fond farewell and hope to see you again early next year as the 2019 championship gets underway.